Hi everybody, thanks for joining me today. Project Fev, Tarot and More. My name is Sharon. I'm coming to you guys channeling a message from the Divine about twin flame union. This is specifically for divine masculines and divine feminines that are in communication with your twin, but not in physical union. So whatever that situation is what it is. But for right now, this is the message that's coming through for you guys. So you guys are communicating after a series of on again, off again, on again, off again. And what I really picked up on as far as what that experience has been like historically is that the first couple of times, or the first time that it was on, it was intense in its interaction, but the depth of experience and feelings didn't develop, okay? So you guys were kind of going through the motions, and then there was a period of separation, and then a reconnecting in communication, still not physically together though, okay? And then I believe during that next connection, there was more intensity, more depth of feelings. Both of you, the DM and the DF, were both more present, more aware of themselves and each other in that experience. And so that allowed deeper, more meaningful feelings and a bond to form. Okay. And then there was a tower moment, probably, I think, over something that turned out to be important, but the way it expressed itself was seemingly petty. So there was a bit of an argument or some type of disagreement, and then boom, tower moment, separation, and probably an intense separation where initially you guys tried to just kind of talk or chat, but it was just kind of like, it just kept coming up and you guys couldn't resolve the way that you guys were communicating with each other. So there was a complete separation and a no communication period. And then I feel like what I'm channeling again is that there was a reconnection because there was a significant realization in both of you. Both of you came to the conclusion that, oh shit, just got real. No, this is my person. And I don't want to be without this person, so I better do what I need to do in myself to create an environment where this person can be in it. But I don't know how to do that. So there was an acknowledgement of, on both of your parts, of, okay, we realize we want to do this, like for real. Like we're not just talking about this and we're not just like going through the motions anymore, and we're not just feeling this, like for real. We want to do this, okay? And I feel led to do this reading and channeling today because when I woke up this morning, I felt this deep ache, this longing and craving, and like there was this sense of really, really missing each other and really desiring to be together in the physical space, in the physical presence, in the physical realm, but not being able to do that. So there's something keeping you guys from being able to just, hop into union right now. And I got some messages with actually a lot of information for you guys. So I'm going to go through a tarot reading with some additional cards for elaboration, because this energy that I feel is intense, and I feel like there's both divine masculines and divine feminines struggling with this so much right now. Intense emotions, and you guys are kind of ebbing and flowing in and out of really missing each other. And then, the divine masculine makes a motion to connect with his divine feminine. And it's not that she rejected him, but he wanted to connect with her in the most intimate way that he knows how, which is in default mode for him right now, in a lack of understanding and ability and relationship skill and communication skill, made it initially physical after a day or two of not connecting. So there's been some aloof behavior on the DM's part. He's been kind of like, back and forth. I don't know if I really want to recommit myself emotionally to this fully. And he's been just kind of given little crumbs. And the divine feminine today, I think she woke up and was just like, ugh, this again? This is what you're bringing to me after we just had a period of aloof with no emotion from you, no emotional expression from you, and now you're going to come at me with just sex. And even though the DF knows and recognizes that it's not just sex, it's not like a hookup sex, it means more, and it's physical closeness and intimacy to him, I think that the DF is just kind of like, you know what, I'm just not having that. I really just feel like that's a default mode. I want something, craving something with more depth than that for me, for the DF, okay? And of course that energy could be working vice versa, where the DM is very well aware of the twin flame connection, and that's been going on with him. And then, the DF came at him with something just kind of like default mode for their relationship, for your guys' relationship. So I'm going to go to the tarot now, and then we'll see how it kind of plays out here. I have like some basics from the pre-shuffle and premeditation that I did on this. But, there's some affirmations coming your guys' way with this read, and then a couple of messages about advice by not just by the cards, but by the divine. Okay, so I'm going to start shuffling. We're going to do normally I default to a Celtic cross spread, but I feel like we're just gonna pull cards out, and we're not going to use a spread necessarily, because the message that's coming through from the divine doesn't want to be limited right now. It wants to pull the message, and I want to flow freely with that and kind of abstractly just move with the energies, okay? So the first cards that I have pulled out right here are the 4 Cups and the 6 of Cups in reverse, okay? Oh, my camera's on the side, sorry guys. So with the 4 Cups, I feel like this represents the divine masculine energy. He's just been kind of sitting back. And here's the divine feminine's offering. She's come forward emotionally and, has really, I think, resolved what's happened between the two of them, between the two of you guys. I feel like the divine feminine has really resolved it. And she's just forward focused, and she's decided we're no longer gonna, be nostalgic about our negative feelings and about the emotional grudges. We're letting this go. We're letting this go, and we're going to move on. And I believe that the divine masculine has intuitively picked up on that, because his energy changed and shifted, and the divine feminine can sense that energy shifted from him taking a lot of initiation, maybe making a lot of assertive presses into the communication, initiating a lot of the communication between the two of you, kind of coming at the divine feminine, okay? Just really coming at the femme. And, he activated his power. He sounded really confident that the relationship is what he wanted. He may have even dropped the M-bomb, brought up marriage, and started talking about something like that for the future. Says that, the DF is definitely who he wants. You're the one, all of this. And then all of a sudden, you get this energy. Okay, so you come forward with that emotional offering, and you're like, boom, okay, that stuff is all done. We're going to bury it and leave it in the past. And then you get this from him. And he's kind of like, well, I don't know if I really want to put myself into this emotionally. I don't know if I really want to invest myself on this level. Do I still want to consider my options and flirt around? Do I still want to play? I don't know, right? Femmes, and you struggled through the last 2 to 3 days of that type of energy from him, and even where it hit like a a climatic peak this weekend when we started rolling into the pre-shadow period for the Mercury retrograde, which we'll talk a little bit about too, where he just, retracted back, and there was a day where he was literally not even available and didn't give you any messages or any reason why he wasn't, like literally no communication. There are a lot of you femmes out there that handled this really well, and I'm proud of you. You guys didn't freak out. You didn't freak out on him. You didn't lose your crap and go into your default communication mode. You maintained your feminine divinity. You maintained your feminine power, and you backed away in the same way that he did. And you pulled your emotional offer, not completely off the table, but you didn't force it and push it into his face or anything like that. And that is a great progress and evolution for you guys, because in the past it would have been like where are you? Why haven't I heard from you? What's going on today? You couldn't just tell me that you weren't going to be available today. You knew you were going to be busy. Why couldn't you just say you had plans? Okay. And then you kind of like flip out a little bit because you feel like my standard's here and you need to meet my standard, and I don't understand why you just don't get this. And there's all that conflict and drama that kind of is stirred up from that. But you guys, you femmes, you really held your ground, and you were like, you know what? So he's not available today. What else is there in life that I want to do? What am I going to do today then if he's not available? I'm going to go do this, or I'm going to go pursue that, or you know what? I can really reinvest my energy back into something else. Bravo. Just bravo all about that, because really what that did is threw him off the expected outcome, because the divine masculine really thought that that was going to be the case. And don't think for a second that he wasn't testing for that. He was testing for that, because that's been your guys' kind of like MO. That's how you guys have dealt with things, right? Up until this point. So did you really change, femmes? Yes, you did. And what did it draw out in him? Today he woke up really missing you. Really, and the reason why you felt it so intensely is because he's feeling it too. And it was intense, and you guys were missing each other. So what did he do? He wanted to instantly and immediately reconnect, but he wanted to do it on his terms. And you guys were like, well, sorry, we're not going to do this all on your terms, especially today, because you weren't in communication with me, which is fine. You don't have to be. But if you want me to be connected and feel connected on this level of intimacy and be instantly ready for this, then there has to be that foundation, there has to be that investment, and there has to be that communication happening on a level that makes me feel that way and inspires me and uses me as the divine feminine to want to interact with you that way. Okay, so I feel like there's more cards coming, okay? So let's go back to the tarot deck. I'm not going to get into the decks that I'm using today, guys, because that's really not what this reading is about. It's not about what decks I'm using and where they're coming from. I acknowledge the decks in a lot of my other readings, and probably will from here forward. So let's just keep focused on what the message is that's coming through, because I really feel like this is an important one, and it's a big, like, shit just got real message, okay? Whole bunch of these. Which one? Okay. All right. Is this it for this part of it? No, there's one more. Okay. So 3 cards came through. Woo. Oh, okay. Okay, so Mercury retrograde is on us, and I feel like that's starting to be part of the reading here. Okay, we're going to bring up Mercury retrograde. So right now we're in pre-shadow. In Vedic sidereal, Mercury retrograde, I believe, is in Pisces. Pisces is the sign that in a Mercury retrograde is going to bring significant emotional communication. And I think, Divine Feminines, you woke up this morning really craving more emotional depth and emotional communication. I think that the Divine Masculine has been kind of defaulting to his version of intimacy. And I think today you really just were kind of like, you know what? I really just want to be acknowledged on the level that I need to be acknowledged on in order to connect with you today. And there's nothing wrong with setting that standard. And I love the way that you maintained your divine feminine energy in the expression of that, because you didn't get aggressive. You really didn't. It's not like you were demanding or, you know, forceful about it. You just kind of accepted that that was where you're at and just emoted that and expressed it with your communication. You expressed it. So for the divine feminines that are you know, evolving, again, confirmation that that's exactly what you should be doing. That's exactly how you should be communicating. You should just own that this is where you're at. And if he doesn't want to, you know, communicate with you on that level and in that way, that's fine. But you're not going to communicate at all because you're just not interested in it, not because you're punishing him. Okay, there's a very different attitude, very different energy being emoted by that, and he can sense the difference, which is important because that's causing him to really want to step up. Okay, so the cards that came out for that are the King of Cups. Okay, so I mean, we've got water signs represented here, Mercury retro in Pisces. You really got, you know, a divine masculine that's looking to kind of step up into his emotional self, and he's going to be really pressed into that. And you just triggered in him this desire to kind of master this and figure this out. Okay, Mercury is coming to the forefront in a big way. Mercury is the planet that is going to help solve the mysteries. Okay, I don't know what, you know, you have to look to your birth chart to really, your natal chart, to kind of find out where your Mercury placement is at, and you know what conjunctions you may or may not have to really finitely, you know, get a hold of what Pisces will or will not do in Mercury retrograde for you, particularly in this relationship. But for the general read and the general nature, what we see here is he's going to take action. There's going to be action. He heard ya. He heard ya. So he's tapping into this emotional energy for himself, but he's doing it as the king. He still wants to feel like that masculine energy in it, okay? He's not looking to bow down to any kind of dominatrix energy or anything like that. There's none of that going on. He definitely wants to feel like he's mastered this, and he wants to feel like he's on top. Okay, so he's going to come at you and give you what you're looking for emotionally. Okay, but I feel like it's going to come after a little period of irritation. The divine masculine, this is more like what you're going to go through. You're going to be like, for crying out loud, I feel like, you know, we've gone through this. It's not just sex, for God's sakes. Like, I wish that she would just stop, you know, acting like I just want her for sex. She's the only woman that I'm interested in, or the only feminine energy that I'm interested in. So I don't understand why we keep coming back to this. I've explained it over and over again. You know, it's not a hookup. We're not friends with Benny's. I want more with her, and I wish that she would just treat it like that. Well, you know, DMs, it's a misnomer, really, or a misunderstanding, miscommunication to really view it that way, because what she's trying to do, and here's the feminine energy, is she's trying to utilize this intellectual energy to sit back and kind of go, we need to prevent another tower moment from happening. So I'm going to be smart about this. I'm going to hang back, and I'm going to see what you do, what you step into, what role you step into, and how you want to handle this. Because I'm letting you come forward in your divine masculinity, but you don't get to do that all on your terms, because I'm here too. She wants to be represented here, and without a major tower moment. Okay, she doesn't want this whole thing to fall apart, so she's being very careful with her words. Appreciate that about her, because she's really trying to draw out the best parts of the relationship and the communication and the union that you guys are trying to move forward to, and she's being pushed by the divine in this direction specifically for a reason, because union is coming, and it's not a maybe anymore. It's not a kind of like sorta, we're kind of toying around with the idea of being together. Union is coming, okay? So this is the diagram that I was given. Let's see if I can get this in for you here. So this is the diagram that I was given in my head, okay? So you can see that you have the divine feminine and the divine masculine, and you guys are kind of, you know, on one end and then on the other end of, you know, kind of like in this particular metaphor, as far as the example, is you're on this balancing beam or balancing board, and union is only at this one point, and it's in the center of the two of you, and you guys have to figure out how to together move towards union without falling off this balance beam. Okay, so this is her life. This is his life. Okay, or the divine feminine, divine masculine. Divine masculine could very well be embodied by a feminine anatomy or a female anatomy. It doesn't necessarily have to be that way. It's, you know, however it expresses itself in the relationship, of course. Same anatomical presence as well, or beings as well. So here you have the divine masculine life, and this is, you know, this is like a rock that represents his life, and he's still over here kind of connected and holding on to his life, and she's connected and holding on to hers. Well, in order to have union, you guys are going to have to let go of this rock that you guys have been building for yourselves. Okay, and the divine masculine to some extent has been expecting the divine feminine to kind of walk over here while he holds on to his life. And she's like, but no, I've had my own life. And he's like, well, I'm not going to give up everything that I've built. And she's like, well, I don't want to give up everything that I've built. And then you guys have had kind of like a nobody's moving towards union, and you guys have had a separation because she jumped back into her life and he jumped back into his, and boom, separation. You guys are in no communication, right? So now you guys are both back on it, and you're like, okay, I want to try. Divine feminine's like, I want to try. Divine masculine's like, I want to try too. So here you guys are back on the scale, okay? Here's the thing. You guys now have to move towards union, and the universe is pushing you in that direction. I don't know that pushing is the best word. I do feel like you're being supported towards union. But when the DM takes a step and moves in that direction, DF, you have to mirror his energy and mirror his investment, or he's going to step forward and you're going to fall off. Okay, see how that would work? If this is like a fulcrum point, if he steps forward and throws the whole thing off balance, he might make a move that tips you off of the beam, and he realizes that. So that in turn is why he's being pretty careful about moving forward. So that is the energy from the DM in his investment, okay? When he thinks about the relationship and what he wants with you, he knows that he's made moves in the past that have caused you to just jump off the beam or fall off the beam or be pushed off of the beam by his behavior and then not want to get back on. So because of that, he's being very careful, but he wants to feel connected and close to you. So that's why he's initiating a lot of sexual activity, sexual communication, because that helps him feel close. So this morning, I feel like you just were kind of like, if we keep going in this direction, you're going to throw me right off this balance beam because it's not in balance, is it? Too much sexual energy and intimacy in a relationship is not in balance with the other things that are necessary in a relationship. So what the divine feminine masculines is coming forward and saying, let's be smart about this. You can see in this depiction that the person laying, this guy laying here, his facial expression is not one of, damn, come on. Anyway, he's not anxious or upset or depressed. He's just kind of laying there, laying and hanging back, kind of going, you know what? We kind of have been through this before. And, you know, he almost has a very comforted smirk on his face. He's just kind of like, yeah, I get it. I want to be close to you too. But we have to prevent this tower moment, okay? So that the Mercury retrograde coming up doesn't destroy us with poor communication, default behaviors, temptations, because temptation is going to be a part of this Mercury retrograde because communicating factors are going to want to come out of the woodwork, okay? So when it comes to moving towards union, because you guys have realized after this last period of separation that you guys are together. Like you guys have a bigger purpose. You guys are either fated to be together or you want to be together in a big, big way. And circumstances are that you just can't make it happen immediately. So you guys have to figure out how to work towards union and keep the relationship in balance. Okay, so let me just ask my guides what the next deck is. There's more tarot cards to come. Okay. So the next part of this, next part of this with the union is how it's making you guys feel. Okay. Okay. There's a lack of action, right? When you guys have circumstances that are keeping you from being apart, you can't really take action. So he can't step up into the divine masculine energy and assert himself into the situation and bring union closer or initiate union. So you guys are just kind of like in limbo a little bit. So in your minds, in your hearts, in your emotional selves, in your intellectual selves, you guys have decided union needs to happen. You guys are going to participate in this. But neither of you can really physically take action in the 3D realm. So a lot of the 3D realm is just in limbo. That's okay, because the universe is giving you guys an opportunity to work on your psychological and emotional connection as well as your communication. Because in order to move towards union successfully and have a successful union without that tower moment coming in and bringing another period of separation, you guys have to stay in your own balance as well as learn how to balance each other on each side of the scale until you get to that fulcrum point of union, okay? So now I feel the moonology. No. Moonology. Okay, so we have a full moon, I believe, in Scorpio coming during the retrograde in Pisces. So basically what's happening is it's all or nothing. Okay? Now, divine feminines, I believe, are conceptually more aware of this than the divine masculines. So divine masculines that are listening, this is a message for you. It's all or nothing. You're going to create another tower moment if you don't let go of that rock and start moving across that scale, that balance with her, with your divine feminine. Okay? You guys are dealing with some insecurities though. And not just personal insecurities with yourself. Okay? I feel like you're dealing with, can I really trust that she's changed, that things will be different, that the sacrifices I'm going to make if I let go of some of the control over my life are going to be worth it? I mean, let's face it, divine masculines, you're really having to change a lot about your life. And, you know, for you guys, the only way that it's worth it, is if this is your forever relationship. You know, like if divorce is going to be on the table later, if you guys get married, or if breakup is going to be imminent because there's another tower moment coming, then forget it. I'm not going to sacrifice any of my life. Okay? But you need to understand the moon card that came through here is the end of a tough cycle approaches. Okay? And then just know that the universe has your back by saying you are enough. You're already enough, okay? The divine feminine is already in love with you, and she knows that she is. So there's going to be a lot more patience from her. There's going to be a lot more effort from her. She's now your partner. For all intents and purposes, let's just call it that. You guys are in partnership at this point. You're not in union. You are in communication, and you are in partnership, okay? So the other moon card that came out was communication is key. So through this next phase, through this next cycle, you're going to be supported. She's going to be much more supporting towards you with her energy and with her femininity. And that it really just comes down to communication. So I feel like those are the cards that are from the Moonology deck. So let's face it, guys. It's time to fully commit and trust that you guys are uniting. Trust in the union. Trust in the universe to bring about that union. Believe that it's possible and believe that you are more than a part of this. Okay, divine masculines, you guys are the leaders of this. It's true, but you're not alone in that. She's with you. So you can turn to her as your go-to. not because you're weak, but because you're incomplete in a way that only she can bring balance and union without you feeling taken advantage of, because you don't have to traverse the full distance of union. She needs to come towards you and you need to come towards her together until you meet at the fulcrum point of union. And that's taking place. So there's going to be some obstacles, of course, as there is in any aspect of life, but you would have those obstacles if she wasn't coming towards you and wasn't being a part of your life either. You would have obstacles just in your own life anyway. So do you want obstacles that you guys can work through in partnership, or do you want to just deal with life all by yourself? Because that's what you're being called to, an all or nothing situation. And this is the pre-shadow period right now for Mercury retrograde, which starts on the 5th of March. It's a 23-day retrograde, this particular period. It ends on the 27th. Pre-shadow has been since February 19th, so that communication and emotion has been building between you guys. I wouldn't be surprised if there was some turning point for you guys on February 19th. I don't know what day of the week that was, but you guys probably reached some turning point where you realized, okay, this is not just a hookup. This is not just a friends with bennies. This is more meaningful. There's more going on here. I think we both need to take like a really good look and dive into the situation with each other. Okay. For the divine masculines that haven't fully evolved, that haven't fully gotten there yet, you're going to bring a lot of pain and suffering into your own life and into the relationship if you don't straighten up and take the cues from your divine feminine. Divine feminines that are looking to union but are being forceful about it, and you guys haven't learned how to back off, how to allow him the space and time and room that he needs to decide it for himself. The ones that are pushy with your communication, that you're aggressive and you're taking over the divine masculine role. I'm sorry, ladies or guys in that feminine energy, you're gonna create a lot of hurt and tumultuous suffering. And you guys may contribute to actually creating a tower moment. So stepping back and being very careful about yourself and the way that you express yourself into the relationship right now is going to be vital. I feel like the affirmation that's coming for this, for both of you, for the masculines and the femmes, is I trust my inner, either feminine or masculine voice, and the universe to guide me through this. Universe has your back, okay? You have some major arcana cards coming through in the reading too. So it's not just all down to your decisions, but you guys are really to a point where it's a shit or get off the pot moment. You both have to take your other hands off of your own lives, step fully onto this balanced scale, and talk it through with each other and figure out what you're going to do about getting together and making union real. Okay. Divine masculine. Divine masculine, you guys have some things that you need to work through specifically that have nothing to do with your divine feminines. So this deck is going to pull out and expose what those are. So let's talk about those. Okay. Divine masculines right now. Fear. Okay. Your biggest obstacle is fear. Remember, I've talked about this before, where fear is the opposite of love. So if you're not loving fully your divine feminine, then you're not moving towards union. So if union is what you really crave and what you really want with your divine feminine, then you have to step through the fear, even though you're feeling it, allow it to be there, accept that it's there, and not deny it. And then step through it and feel and experience the love. Okay? So the affirmation here is, I realize that I am testing my resolve to live in the energy of love. And your divine feminine is there on the other side, smiling at you and just so happy that you're stepping onto that scale and you're looking at her and you're moving towards her. That's elation. Okay, that is elation in the love. So, divine masculines, your project for this Mercury retrograde is to meditate through, affirm, and work through your fear. Okay. Divine Feminines. What's the message for the Divine Feminine here about what they're going through? Okay. Is that enough for them? One more? Okay, one more card wants to come through, and then we'll discuss what they are. Okay, is it here? Ooh, okay. Okay, here we go. Okay, Divine Femmes, you guys got a few more cards because I feel like the issues with you are not anywhere near as intense as fear. The Divine Masculine, fear is a pretty intense one. And let me just, point out that fear is the very final and last emotional obstacle between the Divine Masculine and his goal, or you. Okay, fear for him. That's the final obstacle for him, is he just has to resolve that fear, or not resolve it, but allow it to be there and step towards you anyway. Divine Masculines, you have to allow the fear to be there and step towards your Divine Feminine anyway. Okay, so Divine Feminines, here we go. We've got patience, worry, and failure. Okay, so failure came out in a big way. So I would have to say that this is the one that is most concerning to Divine Feminines right now. Okay, is failure. I think this has a lot to do with disappointment. Part of what has failed between the attempts that you two have made in the past has to do with your lack of patience. Your lack of patience. Okay, that's why this is in the reverse. Okay, I think, let me just put it this way. This is what's coming through for me, okay? Sorry, this is a very clear message, and I want to make sure that I relay this verbatim. Divine Feminines, you've been activating your masculinity and operating in your masculinity in your own life, all by yourself, very independently, and have managed to build a life that you are happy with. You like the path that you're already on, and you can see a future there without a partner. And it's a good future. So stepping away from that in some essence and bringing that towards union is a huge sacrifice for you as well. Divine Masculines, please understand that while she may not be dealing with the fear that you're dealing with, she is also making sacrifices to move towards union with you. So don't think that you're the only one giving up all this stuff to build a life with her. There are things that she's turning away from, not walking away from, because all of these things will be brought back to you guys in union. You understand that, right? The universe wants to bless you with abundance, and there's a greater purpose in the universe that is bringing you guys together. So you're really only giving up your own individual pursuits separate from each other and aligning yourselves together to pursue the common goal that you guys have and the work that you have for the universe. Okay, so you're not really sacrificing success or wealth or abundance or fulfillment. Okay, but for her, if she lets go of that Divine Feminine life, she lets go of some of those dreams for a minute to bring this union together, there's a part of her that feels like she's putting her life on hold to see if you guys can make union happen this time. So Divine Feminine, your work through this Mercury retrograde period is to stop viewing things in terms of pass fail with him. Okay? It's leading to a lot of disappointment. Any step that you guys take towards each other and learn how to manage maintaining the progress without moving back towards the rocks of your own individual lives is progress towards union. And that is reason to celebrate. Even if it doesn't happen the way you think it should or want it to. Okay? So the affirmation on the failure card is, I understand that a mistake is only an opportunity to learn. So if you guys learn how to be together better, if you guys learn how to communicate better through this process, find the silver lining in every situation that takes place from now until union and celebrate the lesson learned and the closeness that it has provided rather than analyze the failure. Okay? Because this is actually contributing and it's non-supportive of him working through his fear. So if you really want to support him working through his fear, then you have to work through this view of failure. Okay? And then stop worrying. Stop worrying about it. Come back to this affirmation. I trust my inner feminine voice and the universe to guide me through. Okay, so the divine masculine might make a misstep. Can you keep your balance? If you kept your balance and the universe kept you guys afloat, let go of the grudges. Let go of the connection to the negative emotions. Redefine it, okay? So the affirmations in these cards, I'm sorry, but apparently we have some landscaping going on out there, is patience. I accept that everything happens in divine order. See, if the universe has your back, the universe has your back. Speak your affirmation and keep moving forward with your divine masculine. And then worry. I am learning that worry doesn't change an outcome. Oh, I love this for myself. Can I keep this one for myself? I am learning that worry doesn't change an outcome. When it's divine and it's being divinely guided and supported, what does experiencing all of this negative emotion do for any of it? Nothing, right? Except change your experience with the divine masculine and probably change his experience with you, and then probably decreases his motivation and inspiration to move forward towards you. So he puts it on hold, and maybe he's thinking, I should go back. She doesn't seem very happy with the things that I'm doing. And because he's working through the fear of his own issues, any kind of negative emotion that you bring to him that's intense, that isn't worked through within yourself first, is going to trigger back to his fear. Oh, see, this could be confirmation that my greatest fear is coming true. Losing her. I better stop what I'm doing and figure this out. So how do you bring union together for the two of you guys? Masculines work through your fear, and feminines work through being supportive in failure. Okay. This deck? No. This deck? Okay. Here we go. Journey within. Internal work and recognition for the divine masculine. Okay, so we already learned in this reading that you are enough. Okay? You are enough. You're going to work through your fear, step through your fear to prevent another tower moment. These cards? No. Okay. You're going to step up into your emotional space with the divine feminine and express more from there and connect with her more in an emotional way. You're going to connect with your own emotions so that she doesn't feel used. These cards? Yes, here they are. Both? Okay. Or is this it for the divine masculine? No, there's one more. Okay. One more for the divine masculine. Okay, so this deck represents any of these right on top? This one? Okay. Okay. Divine masculine. Okay, you guys, actually you got one from each category in this deck. This is the Journey Within card deck by Swami. And it really kind of, it elucidates and elaborates on the different ways we can spiritually invest ourselves into our own growth and into relational growth. And then how can we support our own ascension and awakening? Okay, so I love this deck because it has great advice, and sometimes it'll provide affirmations that we need to hear to help support us on our journey, because sometimes we don't know that we're doing as good as we are or as well as we are, and we're not making the progress. So it's nice to hear from the universe, shout out from the universe that I'm doing well, I'm on the right path, right? Or I'm making the right decisions or something like that. So here we go. Relationships. So in regard to your relationship with the Divine Feminine, here's what she's needing most: the importance of appreciation. Just as we invest in our careers, in Divine Masculine, you really have. I feel like you're being called to step away mostly from your job or career or where you have built your career in order to invest into this relationship. And that's really shaky territory for you. Let's put it that way. Just as we invest in our careers, we need to invest in our relationships. So whatever intensity and investment you've made, say you've gone $30,000 into debt to get your bachelor's degree for this job. Well, this relationship is asking you the same thing, the same level of commitment, the same level of sacrifice, same type of investment that you were willing to make into your career. This relationship is calling you to make into it. Be careful not to take near and dear ones for granted. Appreciation and affection that is not expressed is rarely understood. So don't just expect your Divine Feminine to know and experience how you're feeling and what sacrifices you're willing to make if you're not expressing them to her or him, whichever is the feminine energy, okay? If you're not emoting it from your words, and you're not expressing it in ways that make you feel vulnerable, then it's not enough. Okay, what you're doing is enough to keep you guys where you're at, but if you want to move forward, there's an investment, right? In order to save money, you have to put money into the savings account, and there has to be a plan there. And it can be 25 cents a month, but you know it's going to take you a long time if you only put in 25 cents a month. So what do you want out of this? Okay, think of it in terms of your job. Be very logical about this. She is. She's starting to get more into her logic and her intellect, and she's starting to go, okay, well, the last time we did this, emotions were running high and we weren't really creating a plan. Union in the 3D world requires intellectual logic. Okay, the emotional bond and connection needs to be there, but a unification of twin souls on this earth, does require you guys to communicate logically and create and formulate a plan. Okay, who's willing to give up what? Okay, you guys have to talk house. You guys do. Okay, so the Journey Within, the supportive card for you guys, Divine Masculines, is personal growth, Journey Within. There you will find all peace, all joy, and all love. Okay? I trust my inner masculine voice and the universe to guide me through. Okay, so it comes back to that affirmation again. All of what you've ever desired is just on the other side of fear. And I think Will Smith said that one time. Everything that you've ever wanted is just on the other side of fear. And if you can Google that or look that up, that's a great video to watch or a great thing to read, because I really think that that's kind of what this is touching on. Everything that you ever wanted with your Divine Feminine is right on the other side of fear. Okay, and then we have servant leadership. Okay, this is about, in order to lead, we have to serve. So the supreme goal is what came out for you guys. So I think some of you DMs are starting to really focus on the end game, right? You're starting to become end game focused. Like, I'm not just doing this a little bit at a time, day by day. Where are we going with this? What's the end game and how do we get there? The bhakti path teaches us that both the goal and the means to attain it are the same. Woo! I'm going to read that one more time for you guys. The bhakti path teaches us that both the goal and the means to attain it are the same. Wow. The goal is to love. The means to attain it are to serve the Supreme and others with love. You want love from your divine feminine? You have to break down and express the vulnerable parts of yourself and show her who you are so that she can love it. And that, I really think, comes back to knowing you're enough and working through and stepping through your fear. Okay, so that's your journey on that for that. Okay, Divine Feminines from this deck. Yes, Divine Feminines. So here's your internal work. Your supportive cards. Your specific messages from the divine. Confirmed on the cards. Is there another one in here for that? Yeah, just one for the Divine Feminines, okay? And it's relationships. So we're talking about twin flame union. So it says real friendship. I think it's so vital to remember that the person on the other side of that scale, the Divine Masculine, is your best friend. He's supposed to be. How would you treat your friend if they were on the other side of the scale, your bestie on the other side? If they were kind of like shaking and losing their balance, would you yell at them, get mad? Would you feel so disappointed that they couldn't make it across or couldn't take a step forward? No, you'd be like, yeah, get it. You got this, right? You would support them in that very way. Well, I don't know why Divine Feminines lose that, but I think it's cultural. I think in our society, women are told to hold your standards way up here and, don't let a man this and don't let your man that and don't da-da-da-da-da. And, make sure this and make sure that. And it's just like, I'm kind of sick of all that. That doesn't really show love and appreciation for anybody. I think it's just ego that doesn't want to be vulnerable to anybody. And that's not love. And it's not self-love either. Let's put a fine point on it. So the card says, be a true friend to others, one who is there to uplift the spirit during both the best and worst times. And isn't that part of the vows that you take if you're working towards union and marriage? If marriage is a part of your union in this situation, it's for better or for worse. Well, that worst part sucks, doesn't it? I mean, it's the worst. Nobody is like, I can't wait until we go through the worst, baby. I just think that, you go through the worst and it happens, and you need to be a friend then and show him friendship. Such friendships bring happiness and illumination. So there you go, ladies. Divine Feminines. It doesn't have to be female. Friendship. So gear your communication towards friends and accept him the way that he is and help him understand that he is enough. And that's why you're choosing him. Because it's time to choose. Time to bring that togetherness. And I think that's it. I think that's where we're at, right? Any closing messages? I think that's it. I think we covered it. So, like, subscribe, click notifications for new videos that are going to be uploaded. I'm going to go through the rest of the astrological signs now that the Twin Flame video is recorded and out there. I wish you guys the best of luck, light, and love from all of God, or from all of the divine universe and the planets, and may they be supportive to you in every way for your growth and ascension. I'm here for you. I don't do personal readings just yet. I'm getting that set up. Believe me, it's in the works. You're watching Project Fev build from the ground up from me stepping out into my divine giftings. and utilizing and channeling the energies of the universe and my guides and things like that. So thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. I hope this really helped some people out there clarify twin flame union. Okay. Bye, guys.